How's it going, YouTube? Right, we are back on the camper van again today. We've got some jobs to do that I've been meaning to do for months. I know I've been busy doing other things. I've been trying to fill the channel with some review videos and stuff like that, just to keep a bit of content going while I've been busy doing these other stuff. Real life issues getting in the way of doing this sort of thing. But today we're back on this camper van again. I'm going away again soon, and there's something I meant to do months ago, and I need to make sure it's done before I go away this time. So let's have a look what we've got to do today. Actually, before we do, there's a few things that are coming up in the future that I do need to tell you about, just so you know they're coming. I've got a couple more e-scooters there that I do need to do a video on. They'll be coming up again soon. These are super handy, actually, to throw in the back of the camper van. And one more thing that I've got to look at in the next week or so, which I'm actually quite excited about because it looks super good quality. I've got the Enquiries Engine Pro 2, I think it is. I built this up the other day, and it is absolutely fantastic quality, and I can't wait to get that video done so I can get it properly in the back of the camper and take that with me on the next holiday. Talking of the next holiday, ignore the little Hoover. As you can see there, I've got a few drones and stuff now because I've started building these things again. I did it a few years ago. I've built there, look, ready, a big 8-inch long-range drone so we can take it up some mountains and stuff like that, which I will be doing when we go away on this next holiday. So I'm going to take the cameras with me and film some away videos in this van while we're there. So while we're there, we'll test out that drone as well and see if we can get some really nice up videos, up some mountains and stuff like that. But for now, let's get back to this video and have a look what we've got to fit today. Right, so when I was away in Scotland a few months ago, what I did was I bought a Starlink Mini in the van already. If you've seen the videos, we have already got 4G Wi-Fi in the van there. What I did find is while we was away in Scotland, once we got really out in the sticks, out the way, there was a few places, quite often more than not, where we was not getting a signal on the 4G. And it was exactly the same on my phone, which obviously runs 5G, which means that mobile internet was no good for us. So what I did was I bought this Starlink Mini. I plugged it in and just threw it on the roof. And then we connected to the hotspot that was on the Starlink Mini. And that seemed to serve us for our internet whilst we was out in the sticks. Obviously, if we was under any trees or anything like that, we wasn't getting a signal on the Starlink very good. It was getting a signal, but just not very good. But between the two, running between the Starlink and running between the 4G, we seem to have internet 95% of the time. There was only a few places where we couldn't get either. But to be honest, if you just move like a couple of meters one way or the other, you usually found a signal from one or the other. One of the downfalls from doing that was what it meant was each one has got its own access point for the Wi-Fi. So everything in the vehicle had to reconnect to a different access point. So there's two things I need to do. One, I need to permanently mount the Starlink Mini on the roof because I don't want to keep throwing it up every time we need it. And the other thing is I need it so we're on one router and then that access point accesses mobile data and Starlink both at the same time, or I can switch between them using the same Wi-Fi connection. I can do that on the router I've got, but that one, the interface, it's got like a web interface that you can go in, and it's really slow and laggy, and it's horrible to set up for that sort of thing, and I just haven't got the patience. So what I did was I reached out to GL-iNET. They have a 5G router, a GL-X 3000, and that router does exactly what I need it to do, plus more, which we'll have a look at later. And that would have upgraded us to 5G and stuff like that as well. They very kindly replied back. They said they haven't currently got any of the 5G models available for review, but what they did offer me was this one, which is the GL-X 2000, which is exactly the same, but it's the 4G model. This will be perfectly fine for what we need it to do. It will do exactly what I want it to do. The only thing it won't do is obviously the 5G. The 3000 model is exactly the same, except it's got the 5G version. This is just the 4G. So what I'll do is I'll install it exactly as it is. We'll get it all working, set up and everything else. I'll run this one for a bit, and if it's doing exactly what I need it to do in the way I want it to do, what I will do is I'll buy myself the GLX 3000 and then we'll swap it out at a later date. But I'm assuming this one will serve our needs exactly what we need it to do. So there's a few more things, as you can see there, that I've bought as well. Obviously, we've got the Starlink Mini. I've bought a Starlink cable there, a network cable. So what we can do is we can plug this Mini into this router here. I've bought this magnetic mount here for mounting the Starlink Mini to the roof. From what I've seen from reviews, this seems to be good enough. Obviously, we'll test that out and have a look at it. This came from GL-iNET. I won't need this, but this is an option for somebody else, because what this does is this comes with obviously a 240 volt adapter to plug in for the power. We don't want that. We want 12 volts going into it. So what we've got here, let me open this up. I'll need two hands. So what we've got here is a USB-C to power adapter there. So we can plug this into a decent size USB-C supply, and then this can be powered from USB-C. We won't be using this because we want it to be a little bit more permanent than that. But if you're using this as a nice little mobile hotspot, this is a good way to do it. But I won't be needing this because we have got 12 volts power supply already up there for the Wi-Fi router that's already in there. What I've also got in this box here is a regulated power supply for the Starlink Mini. The Starlink Mini takes various voltage inputs from that power input. The one you get with it is a little 240 volt adapter there, and I think it's a 30 volt output. It will take 12 volts, but what you find is if you start dropping below 12 volts and stuff like that, as your battery goes up and down, it kind of affects the stability of this. So what we want is a regulated supply. So we have always got a stable supply going to this. So what I've bought here, this is a little power cable. Look, this goes into the back of the Starlink Mini there. And then down here, I've got the regulated supply. I honestly can't remember what I've bought, so let's have a quick look. I'm assuming past me bought the actual thing that we need. This is a 12 volt input with a 48 volt output. So that will give us a nice regulated output supply. I'm sure there was a reason why I bought the 48 one. We'll just trust my past self because I did some research on it at that time. So that'll give us a 48 volt input for this, which I'm assuming is a nice stable input, which we need. What I will do in the description, because I think I bought these from Amazon and stuff like that, I'll look through my history and I'll find out where I bought all these little extra bits from, and I'll put links to these wherever they're from in the description. So if you're following along or you want to do anything else like this yourself, you can. But that, in a nutshell, is kind of what we're doing. So I think the first thing we need to do is take this down to the table behind me and let's open this up and have a look what you get in it. Right, so let's get this box open. As I said, this is the GL-iNET GLX 2000 4G LTE Wi-Fi router. I believe these support eSIM and things like that. So if you're going away and you want to swap between SIM cards, it makes it super useful for doing stuff like that. Opening up the box. Instructions. Let's get started guide. 2 compartments. Some stuff in there. Antennas. 2 for the 4G. And 2 for the Wi-Fi. The 2 4G ones, we won't actually need those because we'll be connecting to a antenna on the roof. But because you've got these, you can use this as a complete standalone unit. In one side, we have got the router itself. It's on a little back plate. So what we can do is we can mount this to the wall in the back of the cupboard, and then this will just click onto it and hold there all nicely. We've got a little double-sided sticky pad there, so if we don't want to screw it, we can put the sticky pad onto it there, and then it stick back. That looks like a nice little way of mounting it. In the other side, We have got various cables. Let's have a quick look and see what we've got. RJ45 network cable, some mounting screws in a bag there, and the power adapter. Power adapter is one of those types with the little clip-on plugs. So depending on which country you're in, we've got a little various collection of plugs there. There's the UK one. So this would be quite a good thing to take on holiday if you're wanting like a little access point on holiday or something like that. Obviously, we're fitting it in the camper van. Right, so what I've done is I've just stuck these antennas on just so we can have a quick look around it. As you see there, the inside two are Wi-Fi and the outside two are 4G. The outside two will be getting replaced by the one on the roof on this. You can angle and move around the antennas to be exactly how you want them to be. Let me just take these off a second so we can have a look around. These only go on one way. You can't get these mixed up because you've got the SMA and the RP SMA, which is like a male and a female connection, and they're the opposite way around on these, so you can't get these antennas wrong. Over this side, we've got a little reset button there. Next one along is a WAN port. This is the one we'll be using for the Starlink Mini, because then that allows an extra internet connection coming into the router. Next one along is LAN, so if we want to plug that into something else, I think if I remember correctly, my CCTV is hardwired in, so I'll be plugging that into there to get internet across to the CCTV. As you can see there, it's a 9 to 36 volt, so it's perfectly fine wiring the camper van power straight into this, because some of these units, this one is not one of them, some of them are very sensitive to power fluctuations. Round on this side, if I take off this little cover there, we have got two SIM card slots there. So what we can have is we can literally have two different SIM cards in at the same time, and then we can prioritize between the two in software. So if you so wish, you can have one set up for the UK, and then one set up for roaming for when you're traveling Europe or wherever you're going. On the front, we've got various lights and things to show you what stage we're in and what it's doing. I wanted this because this can pick between internet inputs. So what we'll do is we'll plug in the Starlink Mini into the WAN. We'll have an EE SIM card in the side. What we can do is we can set it up to prioritize its internet input. It can also load balance as well, so I can make it use all those inputs all at the same time, and it'll kind of balance the usage between all of them, find the best connection, and then you can have a really fast input coming through your internet, just from it getting like a bit of internet from everywhere. There's some really clever things you can actually do with this. It's also got Wi-Fi pass-through as well. So what that means is when I'm parked at home, like I am now, it will connect to my home Wi-Fi, and then it will pass that through this router here. And then all my devices, which are set up to connect to this router here, will automatically be going to my Wi-Fi at home, rather than having to switch between different routers. Because things like my CCTV, for example, the CCTV is hardwired into this, which means it will only be getting its internet from this. So rather than using the 4G and things like that, it'll pass through the Wi-Fi from my home, and then I can connect to the CCTV and things like that if I so wish. So I'm not using any allowances and stuff like that, if that makes sense. Pass-through also works on campsites and things like that. So if you connect to the campsite Wi-Fi, it will pass that through this. So all your devices in the van, you don't have to mess about changing to different access points. It can always connect to this. This will just pass through the internet to that. Right, so what we need to do is we need to swap out the one that's there for this one. I think for now what I'll do is I'll wire the Starlink up to the power where this comes in as well, just so everything's on at the same time. Because if you remember on previous videos, in my cab I've got the aux beam switch panel, and I can turn all my Wi-Fi and internet on and off from that switch if I want to isolate it for any reason. What I want to do at a later date is the Energy Solutions smart switch. I've got a spare port on that. So what I can do is I can wire up the Starlink to that. So what that means is I can turn the Starlink off when I don't want to use any of my allowance or anything like that. And when I want to use the allowance, I can turn it on, and then this will automatically prioritize the Starlink over everything else. That may be the way I want to go. For now, I'm going to wire it up so it all comes on at the same time, and then this will do the prioritizing. I'll try it like that for a bit and see how it goes. Right, so if I take that off, and then if anybody that's followed this build before, what you'll know is these panels behind, they're just Velcroed on. So let's get all that panel out, and then I can get through to the wiring which goes out to the roof. That's stripped up. You can see up there, look, there's a hole that's going out to the roof that we need to get the Starlink wires in. So let's get that done now. Before we go up on the roof, there's a few things we need to do with this Starlink Mini. This is the original little stand here. We need to take that off. I think we can just pull that out. Power supply there, the original one. We need to pull that out as well. What I'll do is this new one here, we'll plug that one in. This one at the side of it here, if I pull that out, that is the network one. And then this network cable here. The reason why I bought this proper one, look, is because it's got this little ribs on there, so we can waterproof this plug going in there. So that's that plugged in. We've got network there, power there. What we need to do is get that magnetic mount fitted as well. So let's have a quick look at this now. I think I've had this out before. I can't remember. It was months ago when I bought it. Right, so here we are. A couple of bags, magnets. There's the mount itself. Screws and stuff. Instructions. Right, so taking this out, I think all we have to do literally is bolt these magnets onto the bottom of this. So let's get those on. Bolt there just to put through this hole, and then these just screw on there. And a little Allen key to tighten them up. Right, there you are. There's all four on. Anybody that's worrying about these magnets as well and losing the Starlink, if these magnets are anything like the ones on my boards on the side of the van, these aren't going anywhere. I've done thousands of miles with those ones on the side of the van, those rescue boards, and I've never lost those. So looking at this, this should just push in there and just replace that original one. That's clicked in. And then there we are. That is that ready to magnet onto the roof. Let's go on the roof, get these wires up down through the roof, and let's find a place to stick this and see what it's like. Right, so here we are on the roof. This bit here is where the wires are going to go through down into the vehicle. I have got a nice space there, look, to stick this Starlink. So if we get this, and hopefully it should fit just here. What I might do actually is push it up here, right up to this solar panel, but that is not going anywhere. That is stuck on really strong. So what I need to do now is open this up, get the wires through these glands. I've got a spare gland at the back, get the wires through this gland and down into the vehicle, and then that is literally the Starlink fitted. That is a super clean installation, and I am not worried at all about this coming off. As I said, these rescue boards here, these are on similar sort of magnets. I've done thousands of miles with these on, and these have not moved a slightest little bit. So I'm not concerned about this moving at all. Let's get these wires through into the vehicle, and let's get this thing wired up. Nice and dry inside. So this is working really nice, this gland. What I will do actually is I think I will turn this round so the wires are coming out of the back, if you know what I mean. So it'll be that way around on the vehicle. So any rain that's coming this way as we're driving won't get pushed up into those glands. So I'm going to put those glands at the back of the vehicle. I think I'm going to stick it that way around. And then I'll thread these cables underneath. Just like that. Let me stick that there for now. Right, that's that done. Super clean install, as you can see there. I've pushed it back to this solar panel, so any branches or anything's going to come across here. Nothing's going to grab this and pull it off. The wind is definitely not going to pull it off because that's not going anywhere. Oh, while we're up here, just here, look, this is the 4G antenna that I'm using. This one, I found it to be really good. This again is just an Amazon thing. I'll stick a link to this as well in the description. But that is our work on the roof done. Let's go inside and let's get it all wired up and on. So that's the wiring. I've pulled out this insulation here so we can get into the back of there. That red and the black wire there coming through, that's the power for the internet, for the router. So the first thing I need to do now is this wire here. This is our power wire from the Starlink. If I get the Starlink on, I can test that that's working because it's just working in the way where it's its own router for now. I've got to change the settings so it's not. So what we need is the power wiring up here. So this here, if I look on the back of it, the red and black wire is the 12-volt input. So we wire that up to the vehicle. And then the black and the yellow wire, that is the output. So we'll wire that up to this wire here. What I'll do is I'll wire it up with enough wire so I can kind of fit it up there somewhere on the outside. It'll all make sense later when we put it back together. It's a bit of a squeeze in there, so I can't really video it. So let's just get this powered up and test the Starlink before we go any further. Right, that's that wired up. I've just used some Wago connectors for now. Because I need to rewire it again at another point, because literally all I've done is I've tagged into this power here, which is going to go to the router. I want to make it on its own power, like I said, from the Energy Solutions switch. I've just remembered the reason why I wanted to do that, and that is because of the power draw. Because if I just parked up for a while and I don't want fast internet or anything like that, I can turn the Starlink off and then it'll just tick over on the 4G and then not have the power draw of the Starlink as well. That was the reason why I wanted to separately switch it, which I've just remembered. We're connected to Starlink. I've powered it up, and as you can see there, we're currently connected to the Starlink. I'm on the low speed plan at the minute because it's just on that standby thing. I will actually change that in a minute to the full plan. Update ready to install. So let's do that. We'll just leave it doing its thing. So what I'm going to do now is I need to get this panel back on. I need to drill a hole through there to get all the wires through. And then what we'll do is we'll mount that on there. We'll plug it in. And then I'll see you back in a second when we've got all this plugged in. We just need to get these 4G cables and the power and things like that. Obviously, we've got this one which goes through to the CCTV for the LAN. And then we've got this one here, which is the WAN from the Starlink. And then what I've got to do is go into the Starlink app, turn off the Wi-Fi in there, and then it'll put the output out there. And then we can use it on this one here. So I'll see you back in a second when we've got all of this back together. Right, that's it, all in and powered up. As you can see there, look, I've put the little voltage regulator up the top, so that's out of the way and it's not going to get too hot anywhere. It's not under massive load anyway, so I doubt it'll even get warm really. There's the GL-iNET router all installed. I've put the Wi-Fi antennas back on it. I've put the SIM card in it as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my laptop, get all this set up and get it working how it's supposed to be working, and then we'll see what it's like. Right, I've been playing around with it for a bit. I've got it all set up and working now. I'm actually really impressed with it, with all the settings and everything, and now we can set it all up. I started playing around on the laptop at first, and then I found out there's a little app that you can download. The app is actually really easy to use. Let's go back down to the table there. I'll put the camera on the phone, and then we'll go a quick look through and see the things that you can do with it. It's actually super impressive. Right, I think the easiest thing for me to do is let's stick up a little bit of a screen recording up here, and then I'll show you this app. Right, there we are. Looking through this app here, if I just flick up and down it, we've got the internet settings here. I'm not going to go into massive detail about any of this because there's so many settings. We could do a separate video just on this itself. So I'll have a quick look through. I've got set up here. Down here, look at cellular. It says current SIM 1, because I've got 2 SIM cards set up in it at the minute. I've got an EE one, which is just really good reception. And then I've got another one in there that's like one of those multi-SIMs that connects to all different networks and stuff like that. What I've got it now is, if I go into current SIM there, look, you can see, look, it's got an auto switch there, where what it'll do is it'll switch between the one that's actually got the signal. I've got that turned off at the minute, and I've just got SIM 1. What I could do is just turn that onto auto switch, and then it'll switch between it. So if I lose the EE signal, it will have a look then to see if it's got a signal on the other SIM card. So that's a good little feature to start with, where it's picking between 2 cards, which one's got the reception. You see there on the repeater, I've got that set up there to my home Wi-Fi. So it's set up there as a repeater, so it's connecting to my home Wi-Fi and then sending that through. And at the top there, look, we've got Ethernet 1. That is the Starlink. That's set up on the WAN port. The clever thing that we can do with all this is set up all the priorities and stuff like that. So if we click into this multi-WAN there, that brings up another screen, and this shows up where we can set the priorities and the order of everything. You see down at the bottom it says interface priority. What you can do is, if you click the mode where it says failover, then you can switch between a failover and a load balancing that I was talking about. So it balances all your connections and gets you a really good connection from all of them. Failover is where it works through the priorities, and then you can press on those and you can move your priorities up and down to reorder everything. So as you can see there, I've got repeater set up as my first priority. If I move this Ethernet 2 down, you can actually set this up as 2 WAN inputs, but what I've got is Ethernet 2 set up connected to my CCTV. My only WAN input is the Starlink, so I've got that on Ethernet. So if you see, I've got repeater, Ethernet, tethering doesn't need to be there, I can move that down. Next one is cellular, so it will work through those order of priorities there. If I click submit, then that changes the order of priorities. There's loads of different things you can do with this, as you see. So you can set up the order then of your priorities of what you want to connect to. So currently my first priority is repeater, so I will be connected to my house Wi-Fi first, so I won't be using any of my allowance that I've got on my Starlink. Now whilst we're here, let's have a quick look at Starlink and see how it's working on the roof. And I'm between 2 houses as well, so it's quite a narrow little view of the sky that it's got. If I turn this enable repeater on, turn it off, disable it, then that should flick us over to Starlink. That's our next priority. It probably would have been easier just to reprioritize the orders rather than turn it off. Now you can see the little, at the top, it's got the little blue circles next to it, Ethernet and cellular. The repeater's turned off, so we should be on Starlink right now. So let's switch over to Starlink. As you can see there, we're online. If we click on obstructions, we can see it's a pretty clear sky, to be honest. It says it has got an unobstructed view of the sky. Quite pleased with that. Alignment, that's never going to be right because it's literally, it's whichever way the van's facing, so it is what it is. Let's have a quick look at a speed test now and see what it's actually doing. This is direct from the phone to the internet. As you can see there, we're at about 80 something megabits per second. What is it? 86. Upload speed is what, 31. We really can't complain at this at all. This is nice and super fast, but to be fair, Starlink's not the cheapest thing in the world. I'm on the roaming package of 50 gig a month, and I think it's £50 a month. But one thing you can do with this Starlink is enable it and disable it as you see fit. You have to pay for a full month at a time. Which is why I've enabled it now, because then I've got a full month before I have to disable it again. So as you can see, Starlink is working perfectly fine there. And that is just some of the basic settings on this router. It does actually do quite a lot more than that, but I'm not going to go into super details about it, mainly because I don't understand it myself right now. But it does what I need it to do, and it's set up to do exactly what I need it to do. I need to turn that repeater back on, so it's using my house Wi-Fi. And then I need to go to the Victron panel and I need to connect to that Wi-Fi router and everything else. So I'm going to do that in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for a bit, see how I get on with it. From what I've seen so far, I'm super impressed with it. So after this trip, what I think I might do is just buy the X3000 myself so I can go onto the 5G. Pointless having a 5G SIM card and only using 4G. So we'll get on the 5G and then I think this internet will be perfect for what I need it to be. I'm not running business or anything like that, but to be fair, it's a very reliable internet. Between the Starlink and the 5G, 4G, whatever it is, you will have a good 95% coverage of everywhere you go, which you really can't complain about at all. What I'll do is I'll put links down below to everything I've used. Most of it, apart from the router and the Starlink, is just Amazon stuff that I found. I'll need to find it all again, so I can put the links down to it. I'll look through my shopping history. So check out below for the links to all that stuff if you do want to get any of the stuff the same. Comment below anything you want to comment. Don't ask too many questions about the router because I don't really know. I just know what I've just shown you. I did have to update the firmware to get it to work with the EE properly. It was a bit funny to start with, but once I've updated it, it was perfectly fine. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more stuff on the camper. Obviously, I've been filling in with other reviews and stuff like that in the meantime, so when I haven't got time to work on the camper, I do actually fill in doing some reviews and stuff like that as well. So there's a bit of all sorts on this channel. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to see a bit of everything. Like the video if you liked it, and I will catch you again in another video. Cheers.